Yo, what is up guys, Del Boy here. So following Devin Haney's win over Alfredo Santiago on the KSI vs Logan Paul undercard, a lot of boxing fans are talking about the potential of Devin Haney, how good he could be, and how good he is now. And his performance against Alfredo Santiago left a large number of boxing fans underwhelmed. I mean, the guy, Devin Haney, is viewed as one of the standout prospects in the sport of boxing, one of the best young fighters in the sport, and he's even been compared to Floyd Mayweather. When you have comparisons like that, it's only natural to expect good performances and performances of the highest order. Now, did he deliver that type of performance against Alfredo Santiago, a guy who's very unproven, very inexperienced, and somebody who you won't find on any independent top 10 rankings at lightweight? This guy was not a top 10 lightweight, and Devin Haney's performance against this guy was underwhelming. I wouldn't say it was terrible. I mean, he dropped the guy, he pretty much won every round, but I think we all expected a little bit more from Devin Haney in this fight. Given the Mayweather comparisons, given the fact that there are a contingent of boxing fans out there saying Vasily Lomachenko's ducking Devin Haney, they are, creating the hype, along with DAZN, Eddie Hearn and Team Haney, of course. But for me, Devin Haney didn't live up to the hype in this performance. Now, why is that? Is it just because this guy is still very young? He's 20 years old. He still has a hell of a lot of learning to do. I mean, ultimately, if you take the belt aside, the guy's still a prospect. The guy's never fought a genuine top 10 lightweight. He's never fought a fellow standout prospect in his weight class along the lines of Ryan Garcia or Gervonta Davis. He's basically just fought fringe level guys with inflated rankings and journeymen. Has he had those learning fights to be a world champion? Is he ready to carry this world title? I think that's a genuine possibility. A lot of times in boxing we see cases where fighters run before they can walk. Sometimes fighters get handed belts before they are ready to be a champion. Maybe Devin Haney is that type of fighter. Maybe Devin Haney still needs a few learning fights before he goes into genuine world title fights against genuine contenders. I think that's a real possibility. However, he gave up that right as a prospect to fight learning fights as soon as he accepted that WBC lightweight title. Now he's a champion. I expect him to behave like a champion and fight genuine top 10 lightweight contenders. I get the Santiago fight was a showcase fight on a really big card or a really big event. I get that, but from now on, I expect Devin Haney to fight top level fighters in the lightweight division just because he's a champion. If you hold a belt, you should be willing to fight anybody. And maybe Devin Haney just isn't ready for that type of fight. I mean, again, the bill he fought on was a big bill. Whether you like to admit it or not, a lot of eyes were on that card because of the main event. It was a massive opportunity for Devin Haney to put on a really good performance and wow fans into becoming new fans of his. But he failed to do that. Again, maybe that was down to the pressure at a young age. I certainly wouldn't rule that out. Another alternative is the guy just isn't as good right now as people think he is. I mean, I've seen fans go as far to say he beats Lomachenko right now. He beats Richard Commey right now. He walks through Luke Campbell. I've seen many boxing fans come out with statements like that. But, I mean, based on that Santiago performance, I think the guy has a few things to improve on. To be honest with you, I think at times Devin Haney is guilty of loading up with his punches, particularly his right hand, and sometimes he'll throw that shot and it's really telegraphed, or he will miss completely and throw himself off balance. Another thing I noticed in the Santiago fight was the inside game, or lack thereof. Devin Haney was very willing to clinch on the inside when it got there. I know Santiago was as well, but, I would have liked to have seen Devin Haney try to work in the clinch, try to work on the inside, but he never really did that. And from what I was seeing, he was never willing to do that. Now, is that because of a lack of inside game, or was he just, willing to do that because, You know, Santiago wasn't having success on the inside, and when it was on the outside, Devin was just kind of outboxing him. Maybe he was content on doing that, but I've never really seen a great inside game from Devin Haney to date, so maybe that's another area where he could improve. And defensively, Devin Haney has got some nice reactions. You know, he can evade shots really well. But sometimes, again, he's not a Floyd Mayweather type defensive fighter. The guy does get hit, the guy does lose his shape. Sometimes he's flat-footed and he eats shots, you know. Again, his jab hand is rather low. He comes out of that Philly shell and he can get cracked with a right hand. We saw that against Santiago, a taller, longer guy. You know, he kind of punched over Devin Haney's shoulder, or his jab hand. And, you know, he ate a few right hands from Santiago. So again, against a taller guy, is that Philly shell defense going to be as effective? You know, I mean, there's a few things I saw in this Santiago fight that kind of made me second guess where Devin Haney's at right now and how he gets on at elite level. But, like I said, he's got that title, so he needs to fight these guys. Has the title come 12 months too early? I believe so, I really do. I would have liked to have seen Devin Haney take a couple more learning fights before he went into world title level, but here we are. So, if I'm matching Devin Haney, with all what I've said in mind, who would I have Devin Haney fight next? I would have him fight somebody who is a credible contender, but also a guy who is beatable and a guy who you can learn a thing or two from. So if I'm Team Haney, if I'm Eddie Hearn, if I'm a matchmaker for Team Haney, I would look at getting Devin Haney in there with somebody like Luke Campbell. You know, Luke Campbell, been around a long time, good amateur, southpaw, tall and rangy. He's fought for a world title a couple of times, put in a really good account of himself both times, and I think a Luke Campbell would be the perfect opponent for Devin Haney right now. I really do, because I don't think Devin Haney is ready for a Lomachenko. I wouldn't put Devin Haney in there with a Richard Commey just yet. I think those fights are very tough for him, to be honest with you, especially Lomachenko. I really think Lomachenko could expose the footwork of Devin Haney, I really do. So I would leave Lomachenko well alone right now if I'm managing Devin Haney. Like I said, I'd look at somebody like Luke Campbell. I think Luke Campbell would be perfect because, like I said, it's a winnable fight, but it's a fight where it does bring some risk. And if Devin Haney were to beat Luke Campbell, it's a good win. And I think people who are critical of Devin Haney would actually give him credit for beating Luke Campbell, because right now, the people who are critical of Devin Haney are rightly pointing out this guy hasn't fought a top 10 contender yet. How do we know how good this guy is? A Luke Campbell fight could tell us a bit more about Devin Haney and what his level is right now and how far he could potentially go. And also, a Luke Campbell type fight is a great learning fight while still fighting somebody world class. So, yeah, if I'm managing Devin Haney, I go for Luke Campbell. But is Devin Haney as good as people say right now? For me, no. I do believe the guy is extremely talented. I think there's a very good fighter in there with the right coaching, with the right fights. You know, I really do. I think he's got a hell of a lot of potential. Ultimately, the guy's 20 years old. He's not going to plateau now, you know. He's not going to kind of get worse from here on out. He's only going to get better. So there's more to come from Devin Haney. But I do believe the hype is a little bit above his station right now. And I think he struggled with that against Santiago. I really do. I think he struggled to live up to the hype. And I think that played on his mind. And I think that was a pressure going into this fight that he really didn't need, to be honest with you. But, you know, that's my 2 cents. Maybe Santiago is just better than I'm giving him credit for. But I don't see it personally. I know what I saw. Santiago, bit of a spoiler, tall, rangy, awkward, yeah, fair enough, but I just expected a bit better from Devin Haney. Not that it was a terrible performance, like I said, he won every round, but yeah, I expected a little bit more. Anyway, share your thoughts below. First and foremost, what did you make of Devin Haney's performance against Santiago? And where do you think he lies right now? How good is he right now? And how good could he be in the future? I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on this one. Drop a comment below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like. And if you are new, hit the subscribe button. It really, really helps me out. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Peace.